the late 1980s, Sean "Puffy" Combs entered the music industry as an intern at Uptown Records, working for Andre Harrell, a pioneering figure in blending hip-hop with R&B. Diddy was young, energetic, and brimming with creative ideas, quickly rising through the ranks at Uptown. His instincts for identifying talent and his relentless drive made him a crucial part of the label's success, which would ultimately lead him to sign artists like Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. The latter group's song, "Forever My Lady," was famously written by Al B. Shaw, one of Diddy's associate, for his then-partner Kim Porter, who would become a significant figure in Diddy's life as the mother of 3 of his children. Al B. Shaw is Quincy's dad. After being fired from Uptown in 1993, Diddy founded Bad Boy Records, signing artists like the notorious B.I.G. and building a powerful empire that defined the hip-hop landscape. However, behind the scenes, Diddy's methods of control, both in business and his personal life, were already emerging. Bad Boy Records dominated the 1990s, with Diddy producing chart-topping hits for artists like Faith Evans, 112, and Total. With his catchy production, flamboyant style, and self-promotion skills, Diddy became a superstar in his own right. He wasn't just a producer, he was a cultural icon, appearing in music videos, throwing legendary parties, and branding himself as the epitome of luxury and success. As Diddy reached the height of his success, his involvement in one of hip-hop's darkest moments began to take shape. The East Coast-West Coast feud in the mid-1990s embroiled Diddy and Bad Boy in one of hip-hop's darkest chapters. Bad Boy Records became embroiled in a bitter rivalry with Death Row Records, led by Suge Knight. This rivalry was most famously symbolized by the conflict between Biggie Smalls from East Coast and Tupac Shakur from West Coast. In 1996, Tupac was gunned down in Las Vegas, and in 1997, Biggie was shot and killed in Los Angeles. Both murders remain unsolved, but speculation has surrounded Diddy ever since. Some have claimed that Diddy had a hand in the East Coast-West Coast violence, and rumors swirled for decades that he may have known more about these killings than he let on. Then, in 2023, the long unsolved mystery took a dramatic turn when former Compton gang member Dwayne "Keefe D. Davis was arrested for Tupac's murder. Keefe D. claimed that Diddy had offered him $1 million to kill Tupac, alleging that Diddy was deeply involved in the plot. While Diddy has not been formally charged, this bombshell confession reignited suspicions of his role in one of hip-hop's most notorious murders. While Diddy has not been formally charged, this bombshell confession reignited suspicions of his role in one of hip-hop's most notorious murders. Adding complexity to this already entangled story, Sarah Chapman, who later became the mother of one of Diddy's children, was romantically linked to Tupac before her involvement with Diddy. This personal connection added fuel to long-standing theories about Diddy's involvement in Tupac's murder. In 1999, Diddy was at the height of his fame when he was involved in a highly publicized shooting at Club New York. While attending the club with his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez and rapper Shine, a fight broke out, resulting in gunfire that injured 3 people. Diddy was charged with weapons violations and bribery, with accusations that he attempted to bribe his driver to take the blame for possessing the gun. In 2001, Diddy was acquitted of all charges, but Shine was sentenced to 10 years in prison for his role in the shooting. This incident marked a turning point in Diddy's career, as it was one of the first times his reputation was significantly tarnished in the public eye. As Diddy's empire expanded, cracks began to show in his business practices. Over the years, multiple artists signed to Bad Boy accused Diddy of financial exploitation, claiming they were locked into unfair contracts where he profited disproportionately from their work. Danity Kane, the girl group formed under Diddy's watch on the reality show Making the Band, would later reveal that they were manipulated and underpaid. Dawn Richard, a member of the group, accused Diddy of gaslighting and controlling them both financially and personally. Their story would become one of several illustrating Diddy's alleged abuse of power over his artists. Similarly, the Elox and Mase accused Diddy of withholding royalties and keeping the majority of their publishing rights, leaving them financially crippled despite their musical success. Mase became one of the most vocal critics, directly confronting Diddy about the way he exploited artists under the guise of mentorship. In 2024, Dawn Richard from Danity Kane filed a lawsuit against Diddy, accusing him of sexual assault and revealing that she had witnessed him physically abusing Cassie. Richard also alleged that she and her bandmates were forced into grueling rehearsal schedules with no food or rest, further showcasing Diddy's control over their lives. At one point, Diddy reportedly called Kalena Harper 54 times to pressure her into denying these rumors and allegations, demonstrating his efforts to silence those who could expose him. These stories painted a picture of Diddy as a ruthless businessman who maximized his own wealth at the expense of those he signed. It was becoming clear that while Diddy projected an image of success and wealth, his empire was built on shaky ethical ground. In 2018, Diddy's life took a dark turn when his longtime partner and the mother of 3 of his children, Kim Porter, died suddenly at the age of 47. Her death was officially ruled as due to pneumonia, but rumors immediately began to circulate that something more sinister was at play. Al B. Shaw, a music producer and close friend of Kim Porter, openly questioned her cause of death. He suggested that Porter might have known too much about Diddy's dealings and implied that her death might have been suspicious. This claim sparked theories that Porter had been silenced, either because of her knowledge of Diddy's role in the murders of Tupac and Biggie, or perhaps his involvement in other criminal activities. Diddy's reach extended beyond hip-hop and R&B, as he was also involved in mentoring stars like Justin Bieber and Usher. Over the years, rumors have surfaced about Diddy's influence over these young stars, particularly during their formative years in the industry. Bieber himself has alluded to the fact that his time around Diddy was uncomfortable, with one infamous story about how Diddy promised him a Lamborghini at age 16 if he stayed under his mentorship. Some have suggested that Diddy's role as a mentor to young stars like Bieber and Usher may have crossed boundaries into manipulation or exploitation, although there are no formal accusations from either artist. Behind the public image of success and glamour, stories began to emerge about Diddy's private life. By the early 2000s, rumors of Diddy's wild parties, often described as freak-offs, began to surface. These parties, attended by celebrities, were said to involve drugs, alcohol, and sexually exploitative situations. Cat Williams, the comedian, has publicly hinted at these parties for years, implying that Diddy's private events were more than just lavish gatherings, but involved questionable behavior and manipulation of guests. Jaguar Wright, a singer, added to the whispers, accusing Diddy of exploiting vulnerable people at these parties. She described an industry where power players like Diddy used their influence to control others. Another industry insider, Rodney Darkchild Jerkins, who had worked closely with Diddy, added fuel to the fire by accusing Diddy of being part of a toxic culture in the music business. While Jerkins didn't provide specific details, his comments further solidified the growing belief that Diddy's power and control over the industry had dark undertones. In 2023, Diddy's world was shaken by a major scandal when his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, filed a lawsuit accusing him of years of abuse. Cassie claimed that Diddy had physically assaulted her, forced her into non-consensual sexual acts, and subjected her to years of control and manipulation. Cassie's accusations described a terrifying portrait of life under Diddy's influence, one filled with coercion, violence, and control. The lawsuit was settled within 24 hours, leading many to believe that Diddy paid Cassie a large settlement to prevent further details from emerging. While Diddy publicly denied the claims, the speed of the settlement left lingering doubts. Following Cassie's case, other women began to come forward. A 2007 French model accused Diddy of molesting her, though the specifics of the case remain unclear and no formal charges have been filed. A 2006 sexual assault case was also revisited, though Diddy's legal team argued that the statute of limitations had expired. Despite these cases being years old, they contributed to the growing perception that Diddy had a long history of predatory behavior. By the end of 2023, Diddy faced mounting legal challenges. In a major development, his home was reportedly raided by authorities who discovered weapons, drugs, and incriminating documents that potentially tied him to various crimes. Additionally, there were reports that video footage was found, showing activities from Diddy's parties that could provide concrete evidence of his involvement in illegal activities. Orlando Brown, a former Disney star, made strange and seemingly incoherent remarks in the past. where he implied an inappropriate relationship with Diddy. His comments were often dismissed at the time due to his erratic behavior and history of substance abuse, but they have resurfaced amid growing scrutiny of Diddy's actions. Brown has made unverified allegations about Diddy's interactions with him, which have sparked debates online, especially in light of Diddy's recent legal troubles. Some fans have begun reconsidering Brown's statements, speculating that there could be elements of truth behind the wild accusations he made. Brycia Gray, known for his role in Empire, has also come forward with allegations against Diddy. In a particularly distressing account, Gray claimed that Diddy coerced him into participating in adult films. According to Gray, Diddy used his influence to manipulate and isolate him, making Gray feel obligated to comply with his demands to protect his career. These revelations have added to the outrage surrounding Diddy's alleged abuse of power within the industry, prompting calls for further investigations. Diddy's arrest and the ongoing investigation suggested that the weight of decades of accusations from exploitation to murder conspiracy and sexual misconduct was finally catching up to him. The specifics of the charges remain somewhat unclear, but reports indicate that he could be facing serious legal consequences. Diddy's empire, once a towering symbol of success in both music and business, now appears fragile, built on a foundation of power plays, exploitation, and moral decay. His ascent through the industry, marked by innovation and dominance, is now overshadowed by a long list of legal battles, shocking allegations, and deep suspicions. What was once the image of an entrepreneurial genius is now clouded by the possibility that he used his power not just to build, but to manipulate, intimidate, and silence those around him. His dealings with bad boy artists, his participation in the East Coast-West Coast feud, and his relationships with partners like Cassie and Kim Porter have left a trail of people who, over time, have voiced their claims against him. As Diddy faces mounting legal pressure, including charges related to sexual misconduct and possibly more serious crimes, the music world and the public are left wondering if this is the end of one of the most celebrated figures in entertainment, or if, like many powerful figures, he will somehow find a way to survive. But even if he dodges formal charges, his carefully cultivated public image has been severely tarnished. While the full legal consequences of Diddy's actions are still being determined, the social and cultural implications of his alleged behaviors have already begun to reshape his legacy. There's a growing acknowledgement in the industry of the abuses of power that often accompany extreme success and influence, and Diddy's story is emerging as one of the most significant cautionary tales in modern pop culture. Diddy's downfall represents a larger trend within the entertainment industry, where prominent figures, once insulated by their wealth and influence, are now being held accountable for decades of abuses that were once ignored or tolerated. The Me Too movement in Hollywood and the broader cultural reckoning with exploitation and manipulation has created an environment where victims feel more empowered to come forward. What Diddy's story reveals is that the pursuit of power can lead to devastating consequences for those around you. His control over bad boy artists, his entanglement in murder conspiracies, and his role in fostering an atmosphere of fear and silence speak to the dangers of unchecked influence. The allegations against him represent not just one man's misuse of power, but also the way the industry itself has enabled such behavior to flourish for years. Other powerful figures, from R. Kelly to Harvey Weinstein, have faced similar reckonings, and Diddy's story may soon join theirs as another example of how fame can turn toxic when used for personal gain at the expense of others. This reckoning isn't just about criminal charges or financial settlements, but about a deeper societal shift toward accountability, transparency, and justice. While Diddy's fall from grace is happening in real time, his future remains uncertain. Given the allegations, both legal and social, there are two possible paths for him. The question now is how many more stories will emerge and how much of his past will be revealed as the legal system and public opinion continue to probe deeper into his life and career. What becomes of Sean Diddy Combs' place in music history? For a man who was once celebrated as a visionary producer, entrepreneur, and artist, his story may now be retold as one of excess, abuse, and decline. He revolutionized hip-hop and left a lasting imprint on popular culture, but the darker parts of his legacy now challenge the very essence of that success. Diddy's story will likely serve as a case study in the perils of power and the consequences of unchecked ambition. If the allegations against him hold, his influence over the industry may be forever stained. His rise to fame will always be remembered, but so will his fall from grace, a cautionary tale about the dangers of fame, corruption, and abuse. Ultimately, Diddy's story shows that no matter how high someone rises in the public eye, the truth has a way of catching up. His empire, built on a mixture of talent, innovation, and ruthless control, now teeters on the edge of collapse, threatened by the voices of those he allegedly wronged. Whether through legal battles or cultural memory, Sean Diddy Combs may find that the legacy he built now rests in the hands of those who are seeking to tear it down. The story is far from over, but for now, the empire that once seemed unshakable is on the verge of imploding under its own weight. Only time will tell whether this will be the final chapter of Diddy's fall from power.